6 months is enough to completely change your life if you're intentional, focused, and ruthless with your time. The problem most people have, they're busy. But busy doesn't mean progress. You're not here to be busy, you're here to win. The difference between people who crush it and people who spin their wheels is not talent, it's not resources, it's clarity and execution. Most people stay stuck not because they're not working hard, but because they're working hard on the wrong things. They confuse activity with progress. They wake up, check their email, respond to messages, sit in meetings, cross things off their to-do list, and feel accomplished. But when you look at the scoreboard 6 months later, nothing's moved. That's the trap. That's the treadmill. If you want to win, you got to shift from being busy to being outcome driven. Outcomes are results. They are clear, measurable, and often uncomfortable. Activities are the stuff we do to feel like we're getting somewhere. It's easier to rewrite your business card than to get on a sales call. It's easier to make another spreadsheet than to pitch your product. But the people who win, they anchor their days to outcomes. They start with the end in mind and reverse engineer the steps that move the needle. They don't measure success by how many hours they worked. They measure it by what they produced. Let's get real. No one cares how hard you're working. Not your customers, not your team, not the market. All that matters is the result. So when you look at your week, ask yourself, what are the top 3 outcomes that would make this week a win? What are the few critical moves that would push the mission forward? Then commit to those. Build your schedule around them. Protect them like your life depends on it. Because if you don't protect them, distractions will steal them. This mindset doesn't just apply to business, it's everything. Want to get in shape? Stop going to the gym just to check the box. Focus on the outcome. Do you want to gain muscle, lose fat, improve mobility? Then optimize for that. Want a better relationship? Stop doing things just to avoid conflict or feel busy. Focus on the outcome. More connection, more trust, more quality time. Everything gets clearer when you know what the real outcome. Now here's the truth. Being outcome focused forces you to face hard realities. It exposes waste. It shows you where you've been hiding. When you start measuring results instead of effort, you can no longer lie to yourself. And that's why most people avoid it. It's easier to be busy than to be effective. But if you want the next 6 months to count, you've got to be honest, brutally honest. Where are you producing results and where are you just running in circles? This shift doesn't happen overnight. It takes practice, it takes self-awareness, but once you lock in on outcomes, you start operating on a different level. You say no faster, you delegate better, you build faster feedback loops, you stop doing things just because that's how it's always been done. You prioritize impact over effort. That's what elite performers do. They get laser focused on the win and ignore the noise. They don't confuse motion with momentum. So every day, ask yourself, what outcome am I owning today? What matters most? What would make this day a win? And then go execute relentlessly. Everything else is noise. Everything else is delay. Focus on the win. And don't stop until it's real. Habits are good, systems are better. Most people talk about habits like they're the holy grail of success. Morning routines, cold showers, journaling, all that. But here's what they don't tell you. Habits alone won't get you to the next level. Habits are personal. Systems scale. Habits can break. Systems hold. If you're relying on willpower to win, you've already lost. The real game changer is building a system so solid, so frictionless, that success becomes the default. Think about the most consistent people you know. They're not waking up every day deciding whether to do the work. They've built an environment where the decision has already been made. Their calendar decides. Their CRM decides. Their team, tools, and routines are wired to remove thinking and amplify execution. They don't wake up and ask, do I feel like doing this today? The system takes care of it. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. A system is just a repeatable way to produce an outcome. It's not sexy, it's not flashy, but it's effective. It's the thing that takes chaos and turns it into progress. If you're trying to create content, don't rely on motivation. Build a content system. Block a time slot, set a topic bank, assign a publishing schedule, build templates, automate distribution. Do that once, and you don't have to think about it again. The system runs. You just show up and execute. Want to scale a business? Systems. Want to lose weight? Systems. Want to master your time? Systems. The reason most people struggle isn't because they don't know what to do, it's because they haven't made it easy to do consistently. They wake up every day trying to rebuild their plan from scratch. That's a fast way to burn out. Systems remove friction, and friction kills momentum. So you eliminate as much friction as possible from the start. Systems also protect you from emotional decision making. On a bad day, your system still runs. On a distracted day, your system still produces. It's like setting up a factory. The raw material goes in and results come out regardless of your mood. That's the difference between amateurs and pros. Amateurs rely on motivation, pros rely on systems. And systems don't have to be complicated. Most of the best ones are dead simple. A checklist is a system. A recurring calendar invite is a system. A folder structure for your files is a system. A written SOP for how you onboard clients is a system. You don't need to build something elaborate. You just need to build something that works and that doesn't rely on you remembering to try harder. Here's the truth. Your brain was built for creativity and problem solving, not storage and decision fatigue. Every time you make a choice about something you've already done before, you're wasting mental energy. That's why the best in the world simplify. They create systems so their brain can be free to focus on what really matters. When everything else is dialed in and automatic, that's when you start to fly. So look at your life. Where are you relying on habits that break down under pressure? Where are you repeating effort because nothing's documented or structured? Where are you wasting cycles on decisions that should already be made? That's where your next system needs to be built. Not someday, now. Because if it's not a system, it's a gamble. And you don't want to bet your future on something that breaks when things get hard. If your calendar is blank, your results will be too. The highest performers don't wing their days, they own them. They don't find time, they make time. That's what time blocking is. It's not just a productivity hack, it's a commitment. It's a declaration that your goals matter enough to take up space on your calendar. Most people leave their schedule open and reactive, then wonder why they're overwhelmed, scattered, or falling behind. You don't rise to the level of your ambition, you sink to the structure of your schedule. If your time isn't blocked, someone else will block it for you. Clients, messages, distractions, drama. Your calendar is a battlefield, and every blank space is a vulnerability. Time blocking means you decide ahead of time what gets your focus and when. You carve out the exact hours for deep work, strategy, training, outreach, or creation. Whatever moves the needle in your world. Then you stick to it like your future depends on it. Because it does. It forces clarity. It eliminates decision fatigue. It takes the pressure off finding time and gives you the power of knowing when and where things happen. No more wishful thinking, no more chaos, just execution. Most people think they're too busy to time block. That's exactly why they need it. When you're busy, overwhelmed, or juggling multiple roles, time blocking becomes your survival tool. You don't want to get to the end of the week wondering where your time went. You want to get to Friday and know exactly what got done, when, and why. That's not luck, that's design, that's discipline, that's leverage. The beauty of time blocking is that it forces you to prioritize. If you only have 3 hours tomorrow to make progress, what's getting done? What matters most? What's noise? You'll be shocked how much you can accomplish when your time is focused and your distractions are locked out. Most people waste half their day bouncing between tasks, checking notifications, and reacting to whatever pops up. But when your day is blocked and your tasks are assigned to time slots, you eliminate the guesswork. You stop multitasking, you start finishing. And here's the thing most people don't understand. Your calendar isn't just for work. You need to block time for rest, for training, for family, for recovery. If it matters, it goes on the calendar. If it's not scheduled, it's just a wish. You're not building a business just to burn out. You're not chasing goals just to sacrifice your health or relationships. Time blocking isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters most consistently and without guilt. Time blocking also teaches you to say no. Once your week is designed and your priorities are protected, it becomes easy to spot what doesn't belong. Someone asks for a random coffee meeting, you can see right away it doesn't fit. A distraction tries to creep in, it's obvious it's off track. You're not being rude, you're being responsible. You're defending the boundaries you've built to protect your growth. And yes, things will come up. Emergencies happen. But here's the truth. 90% of what we treat as urgent isn't. It's just other people's poor planning. When you time block, you start to see through the noise. You stop reacting and start leading. You start living on offense, not defense. And the compounding effect of that over 6 months, game changing. Time blocking is how you close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Not eventually, but now. Speed is the ultimate advantage. In today's world, the faster you learn, execute, and adapt, the faster you win. Most people waste years trying to figure it out on their own, piecing together random advice, watching free content, hoping it eventually clicks. Winners don't do that. Winners compress time. They buy speed. They find people who've already done what they want to do and then pay, listen, and execute. That's the formula. Success loves speed, and speed comes from getting the right feedback from the right people as fast as possible. Mentorship is the shortcut, not because it does the work for you, but because it removes the guesswork. One good mentor can save you 5 years of mistakes. They've already made the decisions. They've already learned the hard lessons. They've already paid the price. Why repeat their pain when you can learn from it in a fraction of the time? A mentor gives you frameworks, clarity, direction. They hold up the mirror and show you where you're playing small. If you don't have someone ahead of you pulling you forward, you're crawling when you could be sprinting. Feedback is another lever most people ignore. They're too attached to being right. They hide from critique. They protect their ego instead of building their future. But feedback is how you grow, not just from mentors, but from the market, from your team, from your audience. Every time you ship something, a product, a post, a pitch, you're getting feedback. If you're paying attention, it's gold. If you're defensive, it's wasted. Feedback tells you exactly where to improve, where to pivot, and where to double down. The people who grow the fastest are the ones who crave feedback and act on it immediately. But none of that matters without execution. You can have the best mentor in the world. You can get the clearest feedback imaginable. But if you don't act fast, it dies. Ideas are cheap. Execution is the multiplier. The moment you get insight, move. Don't overthink. Don't wait for perfect. Done is always better than perfect because done gets data. Action beats perfection every single time. High performers don't sit on good ideas, they implement them, test them, and iterate in real time. That's why they grow while everyone else is still thinking. Execution isn't just about doing more, it's about doing the right things with urgency and intention. Every day you hesitate is a day your competition moves forward. Every week you delay is a week you can't get back. The gap between knowing and doing is where most people live. Don't be one of them. Collapse that gap. Make decisions faster. Launch faster. Learn faster. Speed gives you more reps, and more reps gives you more magic. Speed also builds confidence. When you move quickly, you build trust in yourself. You prove that you're capable of figuring it out. You stop waiting for permission. You stop getting stuck in your head. You shift from being a consumer of information to a producer of results. That shift changes everything. You stop fearing failure because you realize failure is just feedback with a timestamp. It's not final. It's a signal to adjust and move again. So if you want the next 6 months to look completely different from the last 6, buy speed. Find the mentor. Ask for the feedback. Execute immediately. Get out of your own way and into motion. Because the faster you move, the faster you learn. And the faster you learn, the faster you win. Speed isn't reckless. It's strategic. It's what separates the ones who talk about potential from the ones who realize it.